Tennessee to the Elite Eight. Let's let that sit in for a second. They kept us up all night, but hey, they got it done. Because the last 2 months, we've been asking the same question over and over. Can this team actually break through in March? And now they didn't just survive, they imposed their will. That defense was real, toughness, real. And for once, it actually translated on the offensive end. But while we're sitting here giving flowers to Tennessee, there's something bigger happening across the bracket. Because everywhere you look, who's still standing in the Big Ten Conference again and again and again? Half the Elite Eight, guaranteed one spot in the Final Four. So the real question, and not one of those fake Twitter debates, is the Big Ten actually the best conference in the country this year? Or are we setting ourselves up for the same story we get every March? Depth, physicality, tough teams, and no banner. The Elite Eight is here. No hiding now. No safe takes. This is bench points.
I think that poses a good question. I mean, and I think it's, it's hard to decide on the tournament being a good litmus test for this, just like we've talked about 1,000 times. But at the same time, you can't help but argue for the Big Ten being the best conference of basketball right now. I kind of feel like Illinois and Iowa have just really elevated that status and kind of brought up the bottom quite a bit. Not as much Illinois as much as Iowa, but Illinois still, they've kind of been they've kind of floated around the background a little bit. They've not had as much attention on them, which is one reason I've been so big on them for the tournament. But I think that's just really made the Big Ten that much stronger.
Yeah, it's an interesting question from that standpoint because, like, it's often said that the tournament is the most entertaining thing sports-wise out there. Maybe the Stanley Cup playoffs, but it's the worst way to decide your best team. So just because you have half the Elite Eight, does that mean you are the best conference? Because and then you go back and look at like KenPom and the metrics and stuff at the end of the regular season. It had the SEC the best conference, and yet one of the lower seeded SEC teams is the one that makes it. They did catch some breaks, but like Tennessee did catch some breaks getting Miami, Ohio, and then Virginia. They didn't have an incredibly tough path. I mean, Florida should have been a one seed. We've been upset everywhere. Every other game's been an upset.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Illinois had that one run where they made it into like the top 2 or 3 in the AP poll. Maybe it was like 4 or 5, and then they dropped a few games. And one of those games to this Iowa team, like right around towards when Boswell was out, like they're really starting to feel that. But
that's right.
They've kind of snapped back, and it's been nice because they kind of got forgotten about a little bit, and then they come out and they really dominated that Houston game. Out of a late run, Houston went on at the last like 2 or 3 minutes. That game was theirs through and through. True road game. They did it. They didn't do it for the 3-pointer. They were getting everything they wanted inside. And I think it's an interesting debate. Like if I was a Big Ten fan, I would definitely say, yeah, that means we're the best conference. We're guaranteed one in the Final Four. Probably going to get 2, because you've got 4 teams going and three matchups, including one of your teams. It's just, I don't know. It's fun. I still think the Big 12 was probably the best basketball conference this year, just talent wise. But
talent wise, I don't know that's tough to disagree with you on. But it's these results just makes you kind of scratch your head a little bit. And I think Texas Tech going down really hurt that. I guess for that perception, I think that was one that if Texas Tech would still be in this thing, it would look
in the way they went down too. Like it wasn't like they got beat at the buzzer or something magic happened. They got just depantsed on national TV.
Mm-hmm. Kind of continuing with the Big Ten, but drilling down a little bit deeper. Ben McCollum, we talked about at the beginning of the year that he had a really nice opportunity here, but I don't think any of us thought that they would be, advancing to the Elite Eight.
No, the regular season it wasn't pretty. They were getting beat pretty handily by some of the teams of the caliber that they have beat in the tournament. Like it wasn't. All that dude does is win. I mean, he just everywhere he turns around, he just wins and wins and wins. I like his personality. I like how into it he is. Like he's getting into it with other coaches. I love seeing that.
Oh yeah.
Like I love the way he does his press conference. Seems emphatic that he's staying at Iowa and not looking at the UNC job. I mean, we've been lied to before. Will Wade, but like. I don't know. It seems like Iowa is where he wants to be because like every coaching stop he's had has been in Iowa. So I don't know that he necessarily is going to leave that state. But I mean, Fred McCaffrey was there for what felt like 20 years and never sniffed this far. didn't sniff
Yeah.
the Sweet 16, never even saw what the Elite Eight looked like. Here he is in his first year taking you where you haven't been. He is one of the more impressive guys that's not getting enough love across college basketball. Incredible the job he's doing.
Right. And I mean, and this is his first season, right?
First season at Iowa, yeah. His second
That's
season at D1, like he spent one season at Drake.
a
So
Drake.
he's fresh.
Which is wild. And he does have those crazy eyes, though. Golly, he's got something about him. But just what he's been able to get out of this Iowa team. Not that these guys are a bunch of scrubs, but they kind of they don't have the guy, but they've developed into the men. And I think it's been fun to watch. And that Nebraska team, that game just felt like it was Iowa's from the get-go, and so like it was almost destined to happen. And then when Nebraska had the 4 players on the floor, which
I don't understand how that happens.
and that was coming out of a timeout.
Like so there's you have the timeout. Either a player just didn't feel like going back in, or got like just lost in the shuffle, or a coach forgot to say, "Hey, you're out," and then you're in. But at the same point, you've got I don't understand why somebody's not going like 1, 2, 3, like hold like and just sprinting out there late or something. I don't know, or call like I don't know if they had another timeout to call there, but I mean everybody dropped the ball. I don't know that it was necessarily Hoiberg's fault, but it was nice to see him come out there and get in front of it because I mean that literally cost them the game.
Yeah.
That was the most important possession of their season. They let a guy go streaking down, and not only does he dunk it with the 4 guys on the floor, he gives them an and one and just really put that game away.
Yeah, but is that allowed? Could a player just run on the floor?
Anything's better than just giving them a
Yeah,
wide open dunk, like because even if they get free throws out of it, at least they got to make the free throws like 2 shots to get the 2 points instead of
right. A dunk and one.
yeah. So it's just unexcusable, and that feels like Nebraska sports in general right now. Like it just can't get out of their own way, especially football. But like this is the best year of basketball that they've ever had, and for it to end like that is that I would be livid. I don't know that I would sleep till next year. Like it would just eat me up inside the whole time.
For sure. Yeah, and I think the Texas Purdue game was an exciting game. Texas, because of the name, I feel like if the name was different, like if you were looking at maybe Missouri or I think of another good example, Georgia from the SEC, certainly like another Big Ten school that would fall into these ranks. But like because Texas is Texas, it wouldn't be as big a story. But Texas played a damn good basketball game. I mean, and they shot better than they have maybe all season. And I don't know where this team came from. But
I don't either. Like Pope played 33 minutes on a broken foot. That's impressive, and not just like gimping out there and just taking a spot. Like he was a main driver of things. Trayvon Mark was clearly gimped up after that like foul from Lawyer where he rolled his ankle. It still hit big shot after big shot. And like credit to Purdue, man. Like there was a couple times where I thought, all right, Texas might have kind of put this out there because Braden Smith wasn't necessarily having the best game of his life.
No,
and there was times that I was like, "Where's the offense going to come from if he's not playing well?" And I mean, TKR was there every step of the way, even all the way to the end. Had an absolutely fantastic game out of him, making free throws, which he's not really necessarily known for. I mean, he hit. I don't not really. He's got that little push shot that he hit a couple times, cleaning up everybody else's misses. He was absolutely fantastic game from start to go. But Texas was the best game I've seen Texas play of the year. He played out of their mind. They were shooting the ball well. They defended well. Like Swain was playing well. Or Pope and Mark were shooting well. A couple dumb fouls, and that's part of like Sam's not here, so I'm going to get away with this. But like TKR's got to be really careful about how he posts up. It's coming to the forefront now. It's been pointed out enough, and so this next few games, the refs are hearing it. He posts up very physically, and he likes to wrap that arm around. It's borderline a foul or not, depending on what's going to happen. And I'm worried that it's going to start getting called because of all the attention that's being brought to it. Because anytime you look at things in slow motion, guys' arms are tangled, it's going to look worse than what it is. But he posts up very physically. And I mean, the same thing is going to go for Jalen Carey to see like that initial like wham to kind of
Mhm.
set yourself that he's could get himself in trouble.
Yeah, it gets the defender on their heels so you can kinda
Yeah,
get better positioned. I
it's
mean,
5 years ago. This is not a worry. Like
no.
that's how you're taught 5 years ago.
Yep.
Is you bang into them and you set yourself and then make them come over the top of you. Unfortunately, that's not how this tournament's being called. So I hate to see a player's value get flipped because the refs decided what they saw on TV and what they heard is going to change how it's called. And I'm worried that's going to happen for him going forward. Uh,
Mhm.
but at the same time, if I was Miller or if I was Tommy Lloyd, I am screaming that from the very first time because, like, if I can get one or two of those calls, maybe throughout the game, you don't know how much that changes everything.
Yeah.
Well, because like, and the same thing for Clough. Like, it seems like Painters that he still teaches that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there because there's a lot, and especially underneath the bucket. Purdue fans, you got the tip in. I don't think it's ever gets called, but TKR pushed Swain. I think
Mhm. Think it
Swain
was.
he had a full arm extension there as he was tipping it in. 39 other minutes of that game. That's a foul. It won't ever get called in the last minute. But
I think if there was a minute and a half to 2 minutes left in that game, that there very well could have been a different outcome.
yeah,
It just so happened that the clock ran out when Purdue was ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at the same time, I've never been a big fan of Miller. Not in my opinion, not the greatest of coaches. I'm kind of
Mhm.
really far down on him. And this is one of the reasons why I think he was trying to be too cute and get and save for overtime. I know there's the argument that he didn't want to get the switch Volkaitis on Smith there for the last possession, but
Mhm.
knowing that the way Purdue rebounds, you've got to have somebody out there with some meat, and he didn't put anybody out there. Like there's ways to get around the switch. You can not switch and fight through. You can hard
Yep.
hedge because if you hard hedge and make him make a pass that with the
Mhm.
amount of time that was left, that eats the clock, and you can rotate help. Like there's different ways. I think it was a giant mistake not to have Volkaitis or their other big guy out there to like get in the way of TKR to not let him tip it in. I think he might have cost him. I don't know if they would have won the game because I was going to
Mhm.
overtime, but I definitely didn't help him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Kind of just looks like he spends a lot of time on the dark web to me. And it's strange. He's got a darkness about him that I don't particularly like. I don't, that guy kind of, he kind of creeps me out in a way. He's a hell of a talent. And is he, what year is he? I thought about it during the game and meant to look it up and forgot.
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore? Okay.
Yeah, but I doubt we see him again. 7 foot guy can move. Probably end up. But he might come back. We'll see.
You know,
But
so much money they pay him.
yeah, to kind of finish up Thursday, like Arkansas, you made it to the Sweet 16, but let's not pretend Coach Cal and you all went through the toughest of postseasons out there.
100%.
Started with like the SEC tournament. You went through Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Vandy. The gauntlet that is, especially to get to the championship. Vandy was a good team, but Oklahoma and Ole Miss were both double-digit seeds in the SEC tournament. Let's not pretend that was a good run. And then you went through such basketball powerhouses of Hawaii and High Point to get to the Sweet 16. So, like, yeah, you made the Sweet 16, but did you really? Did you
Hmm.
really?
Yeah.
Because the second you ran into a team worth what it was putting out there, you got demoralized. I mean, Arizona could have beat you by 300 if they wanted to. You had no say in what the final score was going to be.
And I'll give it to Cal. He's like, that team is good. I mean, I think I kind of appreciated that. It wasn't like he was trying to blame anybody. He wasn't beside himself. I think he just saw, was like, these guys are dogs. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Look, and it's not like Arizona with like Alabama from 3 or anything. They went 5 of 8. Like
Yeah.
they just beat you up every which way possible, and it was fun to watch because like Acuff is a stud and
Oh, yeah.
should be talked about a lot more in the top 3 pick discussion than what he is. What I was saying all along in our preview, man, the returners are not that great. And you saw it. Brazil, 7 points. Ewan,
Hmm.
8 points. Billy Richmond finally played well, but he also got himself thrown out of the game because he's a moron. Now, the one that he got actually tossed on, I disagree that should have been
I agree.
a flag or two. But that was more because of the play or two before where he was causing a bunch of things. They're like,
Yes.
refs are just trying to get control of that game. So he's gone. Pringle, 6 points. Wagner, 7 points. The supporting cast wasn't there, just like I said in the preview, like we previewed the season and been saying all year. And the second they fell off, they almost got 30 pieces of the Sweet 16. And
Yep.
Like that's something like St. Peter's does. Not it shouldn't be a top 4 seed getting waxed like that.
Correct. And I know we talked about him briefly, but anything else more on the Illinois Houston game other than I hated that matchup had to happen.
Well, one thing I do want to say is I feel like if Sampson doesn't get it done this year, is he going to get there? Like I know he made the championship game last year. Is that as close as he's going to get? I mean, the guy's getting up
If
there in age.
Yeah, he's already got a coach in waiting in his son.
And I mean, the roster couldn't have got better for him, right? Like he returned a giant amount of production from a championship game team. Had Sinek that was a top 10 recruit who was playing well towards the end, and then Fleming's burst out onto the scene. Uh, and had a great year. I don't know that the roster gets better. He's been complaining about NIL money, so like I don't know the School of Houston. I don't know what they've got, but I don't know if it's coming to him. I hate to see it because he deserves one. He's a great coach, and he'll. When I say this, like I don't mean he won't be in this range again, but it feels like he might cap out with the one chance at the championship game, and then a lot of Sweet 16, Elite Eight appearances, and just can't get over the hump.
Yeah, which would be truly a shame.
Yeah.
He's a stud of a coach, and his style of play, I feel like he's in that same category with Barnes. That style of play is slowly fading away.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it for me as a basketball nerd and a basketball fan. For as long to be able to see those guys kind of fade away is a little bit, it is sad. And I thought that this year they had a. That's why I hate for this matchup to have happened because I love this Illinois team. They've been fun all year. They're my ride or die. I've liked them a lot, and I just hated that they had to cross paths with Houston because I really wanted Sampson to get that reign that he deserves. Illinois is moving on. The Fighting Eastern Europeans are moving right along in March.
Yeah, the shoot the bitches like this.
Yeah, yeah.
But to move on to last night's games, which this has been an absolutely fantastic Sweet 16 outside of the Arkansas game. It has been
for the basketball purist, for the true basketball fans, it definitely has been. I mean, it's been one after the other. Well, even if you're a casual fan, I think you'd still enjoy these games.
Oh, they're incredible games. I mean, St. John and Duke. I mean, St. John's was up 10 double digits at one point, which I mean, this is an insane stat to have for Duke. To 6 times this year they've been down at half, and 6 times they've been down double digits, and they've won all 6 of them. It's insane.
That's unreal. That is stupid.
Yeah, but like I mean, Rick Pitino and the St. John's team gave it everything they had. I don't know that it gets any better. Things just broke different. They went a little cold. The only thing I'm questioning from this Duke game is why did Prey not play more in the second half? Like
that's so weird.
He went 3 for 3 in the first half, comes out, hits his first 3 in the second half. It's like, and I mean, he was everywhere on defense too. Like the guy was everywhere. Great game. And then all of a sudden, he's just not playing anymore. I don't know. That shocked me from because like I got if he would have missed that first one in the second half, it's like okay, you had your run, cool,
right?
Thank you for getting us here, getting us a 1-point lead at half. Now we get, but like he hit that first, like at least play him till he misses because the guy played 13 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, a steal, a block, and a lot more deflections that aren't captured out there. I mean, he was playing well.
That was weird.
I don't understand that. Caleb Foster, not enough can be said. 2 weeks ago, he had surgery on that foot.
Unbelievable.
And comes out. I mean, the first half played okay, but I mean, it was more of like, and this is what I kind of thought his role would be if he was going to play, was an extra ball handler to face that. I mean, St. John's defense was everywhere, especially in that first half, just nuts. That's what I thought his role would be. But then then at halftime, he comes out late, and I was like, man, we pushed it too far. I hope it doesn't ruin future things for this kid. And then he comes out and goes on like a 7-0 run by himself and really saved the game from getting out of hand with Duke. But as soon as Duke switched to that zone, like that really, because
over.
Like St. John's threes quit dropping, and if they're not making that shot, they can't set that defense. And if they're not setting that defense, that's not feeding their offense. And it was a vicious circle there, and that's how Duke kind of got back. But because then that lets Boozer get to play full court. Like but that zone to me was the biggest switch in this game. That
I agree.
Really flipped it on its head because all of a sudden St. John's just couldn't get in. And I'm curious to your take on this. It really felt like Boozer's defense has stepped way up over the last month and a half. Like between him and Nagumba, like Ejiofor couldn't get anything he wanted. Couldn't do anything down low.
You
He
know,
couldn't post up and get anywhere he wanted, like he normally does.
I think Boozer's defense has just been elevated, but also his passing ability and his vision on the floor, I feel like it's gotten even better. He's always been good. He's good at everything. I mean, but I think he's becoming a great passer and a great defender. That's only adding zeros to his paychecks that he's going to be having here at the next level. And he's making himself a franchise player in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's how many times do you see like a guy that's a more or less a back to the bucket player? That is who the ball is in his hands at the top of the key with a minute or two left, like in clutch, like
Mm-hmm.
clutching it out time. It wasn't in Caden Boozer, wasn't in Foster, wasn't in Evans' hands. They were giving it to Cameron Boozer to get that offense started. Like that. That's impressive to me. That tells you a lot about how smart he is. He's not the most athletic. He's never going to be the most athletic, but it's just
No.
telling you how I mean, the dude, all the guy does is win. He won like three or four state championships in high school in Florida. And now he's just this Duke team is what 35-2, like it,
Mm-hmm.
and really should be 37-0 because they had leads and big leads in both the games they lost. Like this is can't like I don't. It's still if I'm picking the number one pick, I'm still probably going to AJ DeBanza.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to have some real conversations about Boozer, depending on my team. Like if I was the Pacers or one of those teams
Mm-hmm.
that, like has a very good roster that might like it's not just like we need a superstar. You've already got your superstars. He's starting to look a lot more attractive.
I would love for him to go to the Pacers. I know that might be opposite of what Sam wants, but I love because the Pacers. I kind of lean towards on the east side, and I think I would love to see him in a Pacer uniform. But I'll tell you who is growing on me because there have been times this year where he has frustrated me to no end because I know that he's better than some of the decisions that he makes on the floor. Isaiah Evans is an absolute dog.
Oh yeah,
And I love watching him play.
yeah,
When he plays like he did last night, yes, he had a great game, but it's not even the fact that he had 25 points. It's the fact of the decisions that he made, how he moved the ball, how he. I think he only had one turnover. Yeah, one turnover, four rebounds. No, no, four rebounds. Sorry, looking at two different lines there. But he had a solid overall game, and when he plays like that, and he's not just a shooter. He has gotten so much better from last year, from being a kind of a one way player and being a shooter. He's really developing out. So
yeah.
I'm excited to see where his rest of his career goes.
Yeah, somebody late first round is going to get a very like it frustrates me because that jump shot is such a freaking line drive, and so I
Yep.
never think it looks good, but then it goes in like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he made some monster plays in this game to really like. There was a scenario that I thought Duke wasted all their energy to come back, and then because like Malik Brown got the rebound or blocked a shot, then he grabbed the rebound and was kind of falling out of bounds, tried to throw it off Bryce Hopkins. Hopkins catches it, dunks it, gets the and one. I miss it, and then Mitchell tip dunks it in for a 4-point play instead of a 3-point play. And I thought, there it goes. That was our chance. There it went.
Yes.
And then Evans immediately comes back and hits that step back three. And it was like, maybe not.
Yep.
And he was very impressive. Like at the beginning of the game, they were trying to take that jump shot away and he made several drives and just dunked the ball, made some tough layups. Like he's rounded out. He played very good defense. He's a great free throw shooter too. Like so,
Yep.
it's one of those that I think he's going to make some team next year very very happy.
No, I completely agree. And I think I can tell you who's not happy, or if they even care. But south of us in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, I don't even know if they know that they lost last night. Since I don't know if they care that much about this basketball team, which is insane, as we witnessed when we went down there this fall. But Michigan 90, Alabama 77.
Like
I mean, there for a while though, Alabama you thought that they were about to be world beaters.
this game went exactly how Alabama's season went. Like this was the entire thing. Everything's going right. They're really tough, hard to beat. Couldn't pull far enough away from Michigan, and then all of a sudden the threes aren't going, and boom, Michigan's almost up 20. Like there's that clip going around with 4 minutes left, and I think Cadeau just hit a shot to go up 10 or 13, and he's looking at Phylon saying, "It's over, it's over." I mean that's bold at 4 minutes in the game, but it was right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Yaxel screwed around, almost got a triple double. And then, I mean, Phylon played his tail off. Like 35 points.
I called that one when we did the
Yeah.
fourth and whatever guys. I was like, Phylon could do something here.
Look,
He's really played up.
and even though all the legal system tried to cheat and get Aiden Holloway back in there after clearing him to travel, which I don't know how many felons get to clear to travel out of state before they're arraigned, but he was cleared to travel, but they didn't. I don't know if he wasn't there in time or if he didn't. Like they just all of a sudden Oates found some morals and didn't play him, but he doesn't play. Nobody on that team really stepped up. Like Reitzel was okay. Sherrill couldn't handle the down low. He was getting beat up down there. Allen was bad. Chimbase was bad. Bull made some just stupid plays. And I mean, Mallet played good defense, but he's never been an offensive. Millette has never been an offensive threat, and was still not an offensive threat. They just didn't have enough gas in the tank, and that was just exactly what Alabama's season was. But you know what drives me nuts about this game? The whole thing. Nate Oates at the press conference at the end of it.
Oh my gosh, I know where you're going with this.
Complaining and moaning about Bediako not being there.
What a cowardice,
Just
disgusting.
sore loser.
Yes.
Dude. Like this is like unreal, and it should like one, he should have never been able to play. Two, it's not like you went like 5-0 or something with him.
Exactly.
You got beat immediately, came through as soon as at home with Tennessee. Like it's not
They're
like
waxed.
yeah. Then so it's not. I don't think he would have made a lick of difference in this game. And I think Michigan probably beats them by more. That like I don't know. This year is really like Nate Oates is on my bad list, and
Same.
I'm gonna root against him no matter. He can be coaching the Special Olympics, and I'm going to be rooting against him. Like I want him to lose everywhere he goes.
No, I completely agree. I thought that was such a cowardice move, and for even for from a recruiting perspective, you know, if my son is wanting to come and play there and seeing those comments, it makes you really question it. Now, of course, I know money can can cover a lot of sins in this world, but my gosh, this guy, which from what I've heard and what I've read, it doesn't sound like they put that much money into this roster, not as much as you might think. And I don't know, it's for Nate Oates to be so loyal to this program, it's very interesting that he's not more, I don't know. I'm not saying more open because I mean, he's not going to say, yeah, my options are open, but he seems really, really solid there. He thinks that, and I think he was interested in some Big Ten jobs there a couple years ago.
You don't know what other crimes are being covered up down there now. Like I mean,
Oh yeah. I
like,
mean, I would, it could be anything.
yeah. So we'll see. Sudden jest, but one of the most interesting games of the night before we get into our fandom, UConn and Michigan State. To me, it felt like neither team really wanted to win this.
No.
I mean, Michigan State came out spotted a 19-point lead in the first 8 minutes because they just didn't want to score. To UConn, and I think that was the difference at the game. They missed a lot of easy ones at the end. Spotting a team almost a 20-point lead is crazy. But the same issue that we've said all year. There's not enough shooting on this team.
Nope.
They shoot 25% from deep. The first time this tournament, they didn't make 7 or more threes, and nothing off the bench. 6 total points off the bench. I mean, there was just nothing there. I don't know, and we can get into it now, I guess. What on earth was happening on that last possession? Jeremy Fears just running in circles for fun.
He made a couple of boneheaded decisions.
Izzo had a timeout. Like this is so confusing because Izzo's a great coach and has done it for so long and has made so many Final Fours and won in the scenario many a time. As soon as you see he doesn't have a plan, timeout.
Yeah.
Because I'm always for letting it play out. And my reason is as soon as you call that timeout, you're now having to play 4-on-5 to get the ball in. And so I'd rather you not set your defense and let me play. But as soon as he's you had 4 guys on the same side of the floor and nowhere to go. That's inexcusable to me. That's just as bad as the 4 guys for Nebraska. Letting your last possession be ran out with no plan and going home with a timeout in your pocket is crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And I was kind of disappointed in how Fears played overall. I feel like that he had a chance to really step up as a leader and set the tone for the game, but he was out of control so many times. And that is one of the biggest basketball icks of mine is when you've got a point guard that is absolutely goes in uncontrollably. And and Ziegler did this.
Yeah.
So the guy was guilty of this numerous times, and it drove me nuts. Still love the man, but still, it just drives me crazy. Gillespie does it and makes it. A lot of times. I mean, going in there nuts, it does not help anybody. It doesn't put the big man in a good position. 'Cause you try to clear out and do some ISO, but when you go in there that crazy, I just feel like Fears did not get in there like he should.
No, he had no plan, and it was obvious, and I don't know why the timeout's not called. And then from the other end, I don't think UConn necessarily played well.
I
I
don't
mean,
think so either.
like they shot decent. I mean, Caravan really carried them for a lot, and Terrace Reed
Hmm.
played well. One that's got to kill you if you're a Michigan State fan. You got a 50% free throw shooter hits 4 in a row to really ice the
Yep.
game. Yeah, that would eat me. Um,
Yep.
but then again, you shouldn't have ever been there because if you didn't spot him 19 points in the first half, who knows what this does?
Hmm.
But I mean, Braylon Mullins was. I mean, he hit the 2 threes, but he didn't play well. Silas Demery might as well not been there. He was just bad. Nobody off the bench really helped out. Solo Ball finally played well. Like 3 guys that returned that we thought would help really carry this team, carried this team. Caravan, Reed,
That's
and
it.
Ball.
Wish I could disagree with you, but no.
That's where it happened.
Hmm.
I don't think either team in this game played well. I don't think it looks good going forward. Like Duke seems to be catching back their like steam. Like when Foster and Nagumba went down, they kind of fell off, and Duke is very much on the rise. It seems like both these teams are not set up. Like it's UConn that won it, but if it wouldn't have mattered who
Mm.
won it, it's going to be. I mean, it's a 6.5 point line for Duke, and I don't know that that's enough. I think Duke might win
Yeah.
this about double digits, but we'll get there when we get there.
Oh, now let's get to this glorious, glorious game.
Just let us get it for a minute here.
Yes, Tennessee with just a massive win, and I'll admit it, I did not see that coming at all. I thought the game would be that Tennessee would play from behind the majority of the game, make a late run, but then it wouldn't be enough for Iowa State, and or if it wouldn't be enough for Tennessee, and Iowa State would pull away. But it was quite the opposite. It was Tennessee holding their own, absolutely put on a clinic for for rebounding. Now, a lot of it's because we missed some shots, but I mean, we had more at one point. We had more defensive rebounds than the entire Iowa
We had,
State.
yeah, we had more offensive rebounds than they had rebounds combined.
Yeah,
And there was a stretch where there was a 10-minute stretch where Iowa State had 2 rebounds and Tennessee had everything else. Like that's crazy. I know the biggest thing you're going to hear on this game is, oh, Josh Jefferson, blah blah blah. Josh Jefferson. When game is a lot closer with him. Not saying that he's a great player, incredible player, but so the guy you put in his place in the lineup, he like scores 18.
yeah, I couldn't agree
Well,
more.
how many of those points don't exist? And because 17, I think were in the first half or something crazy like that.
Hmm.
Like how many those points don't exist because Jefferson's in? Like it changes the game, but I don't think he makes up the 14 points we need on the scoreboard. I think, like I said, I think it's a lot tighter game. I think it's a very different game, but I don't think it's a 14-point difference on the scoreboard. But
I completely agree.
the most shocking thing to me when I was looking at the box score this morning was Nate Ament was our leading scorer.
Oh, yeah, I I know. Well, it's
Didn't
funny. Like when they interviewed him at the end of the game, I'm like, why are they talking to Nate? Like he didn't really do. I mean, it wasn't his best game. And then I realized, oh no, he had a pretty decent game.
Yeah, I mean he hit
It
the
could have been better if he wouldn't have foul trouble.
yeah, he hit 3 threes in that, big threes too. I think one of the only ones we hit in the first half, but the one that iced it, another big one in the corner.
Yep.
I mean, to me, the difference in this game was one, and like I've been on down on Rick Barnes, but finally the defensive minded guy matched up. Like, look, they absolutely took the best shooter in college basketball out of the game. He was uncomfortable. He did not like. He was forcing shots. He was like he could barely find one, and when he did find one, it wasn't one that he actually wanted. The 2 he hit were off like kind of scramble plays, but
Yep.
anything that were the defense was set. My man couldn't breathe, and that was the biggest difference in the game. To me, was she just took the biggest offensive weapon out. And this was like when we previewed it, and one of the reasons that I thought Tennessee would cover was we match up well with them size. Akpara, Trella, and like Evan
Hmm.
guys were big enough to cause problems for like even if Jefferson played, they're big enough, like and athletic enough to stay with them. They're not like big guys that were running in concrete. And then Carey, like he has all of a sudden found ability to move in the last month. And I mean, he had an incredible game today, making great passes everywhere. I think
Hmm.
he finished with 11, 10, and 4, but only
11, 10,
one
and 4.
turnover. Hit his only free throw, which is that's just found money, which was a big and one at the time. Like he
Hmm.
had that steal, and I jokingly called it a slow break because it definitely wasn't
Yes,
fast.
it was
And
not fast.
have a massive dunk like that was big. I yelled at him because he spent more time celebrating. I was like, "Get back on
Get
defense
back.
because they're gonna attack you because you're not fast enough to get back down there." But like, I mean, Tennessee, the same issues arise, so it makes me really nervous. 17 turnovers, 60% from the free throw line. It wasn't all great, but good gosh, could Iowa State not make a free throw?
It was they'd make the first one, miss the second,
It was
constantly.
pitiful. And I mean, at one point it was like an 8-point game. We were more than double them up on rebounds, and they had missed like 7 free throws over the last 12 or something. It's like you just make half those, and we're talking about a totally different game. Instead, Tennessee's flirting with a double-digit lead because you can't. This is my biggest frustration in this game. First half, I thought was officiated very well. You were letting this game be physical, fine. Like I'm not saying the fouls that were called in the second half weren't fouls. It's just they weren't fouls in the first half. So now you're like, as soon as you start calling those in the second half, you've materially changed the game to the point where like Tennessee, like teams are trying, like especially a game with as physical as that was, Tennessee was trying to figure out how to play again, like and how you were going to call it. And that was when Iowa State made their run. They were fouls, so call them in the first half. So Tennessee knows how to play. You can't let teams figure out how to play in the first half and then totally change the game in the second half. Like that's
Hmm.
poor officiating. Not the argument is not that they weren't fouls. It was they weren't fouls in the first half. So why are they in the second half?
I thought this side point, I thought the commentating on this game was great.
Yeah.
Like it was just well done. And there were three things that happened. And one of them was the fact that they said that it feels like that Rick Barnes made the team scared to let Momcilovic beat them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious. And then there was one time where they missed a free throw and they audibly went, oof, like, you know, like just, oh. And then the third was you could tell that they were getting irritated with the kind of whistles that were being called because that whistle got quicker and quicker there, like midway through the second half. And my buddies, some of them that I was texting about the game, thought that was very much one sided. But I think that there were some quick whistles on Iowa State as well.
Yeah. I don't think it was one sided one way or the other. Like and like Steve Lapis is the guy you're talking about, and I love when he calls games.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very good as a color guy. But it wasn't one sided. It was just like you took two teams that play different styles of physical defense, but very physical defense, and then changed the game on them halfway through. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, both teams are struggling for 4 or 5 minutes to figure out, okay, how do I play defense now? And like that was frustrating because you had a fantastic game. Like if the refs in the Duke St. John's game and that I think the same ones called I don't know if they called the UConn game or not, but that group there in the East regional
Mm-hmm.
passed. They didn't
Yeah.
get in the way of the game. They saw two teams like the Duke St. John's game. They saw two teams that were going to play physical, and it was even. They're like, we're going to swallow a whistle and let things happen. Like, and I thought that was officiated perfectly. And this is the complete opposite. They all of a sudden, it's like they went in at halftime, went, no, we're not going to let that happen anymore. Because nothing got too physical in the Tennessee Iowa State game. Like nobody was throwing punches. There was no flagrant
No.
fouls. There was nothing like that. It was the fact that they just changed. They just didn't like how physical it was. I don't know. That's frustrating. That like as a player, as one of the most frustrating things in the world is all of a sudden I've got to figure out how to play, and then I'm like Nate admit you might end up in foul trouble, and you never quite figure it out, and you ruin what like it could have had a major effect on this game, and luckily it didn't. But that was very frustrating.
No doubt, no doubt, and I kind of feel like it killed the excitement of the game. It made it more of a grind rather than just like an actual going at it back and forth, kind of a gauntlet, punch after punch. Now, some of that had to do with Tennessee just taking care of business, especially
Let's
defensively.
not pretend we shot well. Like,
Yeah, no,
and 51% from the floor was nice. I mean, nothing from three really. 7 of 22, and most of that was Gillespie because Iowa State's defense had him out near half court for a lot of the game where I mean,
mm-hmm.
5 turnovers, he was struggling. Some props needs to be to Ethan Berg. Like you're not going to see it in the stat line because it's not like he had a fantastic stat line. It was 2 points and 2 rebounds and 2 assists. But the no turnovers is huge. Or sorry, 1 turnover is huge. But letting Gillespie get some breaks there in the end, able to bring the ball up the court, allowed him to do what he needed to do on offense that got us there, got us to this win. Like
Completely.
where he hit his threes because they were within normal 3 shooting distance. Like That was a monster. He was a very big part of that game that's not going to show up in the stat line.
No, yeah, and I mean, he used to be that guy that you see in there. It's like you kind of had to hold your breath. I mean, he held his own. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And Para had probably, I think that might have been one of his best games of the season.
Man, that block he had that got sent to near half court. Oh, that was incredible.
I audibly laughed
Like,
when it happened.
well, Evans picked it up. It was a little bit confused. He's like, "How do I end up with this ball?" Like,
I know.
unreal. And he swatted that thing so hard. That was, I mean, like Estrella didn't play necessarily well either. I mean, Dwayne Brown played some big minutes and Carey played monster minutes. So it's this Tennessee team is not like talent wise isn't up here with the team, but they are deep enough at the positions they need to be deep at that cause teams.
This is my final thought for the game, but I thought the way that we handled the zone was very like we beat it from the inside out. Like, it wasn't like that we just started shooting some threes. We actually banged around in there, got the high low going, and I mean I love that. And I thought that says a lot about how well our team was coached and prepared for this game, and especially with the late tip. I mean, there's a lot of those things that really show how well managed this game was from a Tennessee perspective.
Yeah, like I think they said on the set, like, they played like 96% man to man. The fact that we took them out of man to man shows you how well Tennessee was playing. Because I was like, when do you think the last time they practiced that 1-3-1 zone was? Like,
I know.
It had to be like it's maybe one day a week for like 5 minutes. They run it just in case we need it, and like it was obvious because like they got out of it real quick because we diced it up real quick, real easy on the inside.
Yep.
But hey, you know what? We need to announce a couple winners from our bracket pool. We've got our first actual tie this time around.
Oh yeah.
Like, because I mean, it feels like a little bit more likely with the fewer games, but we got for the Sweet 16. All right, for the Sweet 16, we have Natalie O's picked 9 and KAYYB. I'm gonna search our followers wherever I can, but if I can't find you, send us a DM on whatever platform you follow us on, so that way I can get your code to you. But you all cleaned up on the Sweet 16, probably put you in a good position to clean up on the Elite 8 as well. But congratulations, thanks for playing.
Yeah, it's been fun to keep up with. I was hanging around there towards the top, but Texas Tech really hurt me, and now Iowa State. But I'll take that Iowa State.
Just from the overall standpoint, I think Nataleo is kind of running away with it.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Got a pretty good lead here and has a very high max with Arizona being the champion. Like it looks like they're going to be in for Dimas. So it looks like you're heading your way to the t-shirt and hat bundle too.
Heck yeah. That is awesome. Yeah, appreciate everybody that's played. It's been super fun. So I really appreciate that. Jake, where are we getting to next?
But first one up, Illinois and Iowa.
Like Illinois is my ride or die, and I'm going to continue to ride with them.
The line is 6.5 at the moment, and it's it's like this Illinois team. They're playing very, very well. But Iowa's not doing anything fancy, but they're just winning games. I don't know where I land on this one right now.
I know, and it's one of those deals where I don't even want to say Iowa's luck. I feel like that's just discounting them, and it shouldn't be. But Illinois is a straight up buzzsaw right now. I mean, it is. I still like where I stand and like my chances running with them. But just like we talked about earlier, Ben McCollum's a winner. He's been in these situations before. So it really is. I think it's going to be a great game. And what did they do during the season?
Illinois beat them at Iowa. So they won by 6 there. Okay, so Bennett Sturts is on the run right now where he's played every minute of the tournament and 1 turnover. In that game, he played 33 minutes, so way off his normal line. The only turnover, but he had 4 fouls. So I don't know how much the foul trouble affected things there. So I think Illinois wins this game. It's just the 6.5. That's tough. Whereas the thing is, Illinois has such positional size that they can throw it. And I think that's what frustrated Sturts in the first game. And frustrates everybody that they really run into is just you're constantly looking at somebody that is taller than you or right around the same height as you that is just as athletic, and it makes offense very, very tough. And they can beat you up inside, they can beat you up outside. As I'm talking my way through this, I think I like laying the points Illinois here at 6.5. Like this is very much going to be one of those like it's borderline free throw issues. And you know what? Illinois doesn't miss. They're one of the best in the nation at making free throws because they're just
Hmm.
loaded with shooters everywhere. They rebound the ball extremely well. And like McCollum and Sturts is what you're going to look at. But I mean, Lucky is not. You're right. Lucky is a disservice, but they've had some breaks.
Sure.
Nebraska putting 4 guys out there on a key possession,
Yeah.
like Florida, like overlooking them a little bit, maybe getting a little happy, a little too confident in themselves. Also, they played a Clemson team in their first game that I think that most people didn't think actually deserved the seed they got. They've had some breaks go their way, but they've also been playing exceptional. It's the slow pace that really changes
Mm,
things here. I don't know that either the teams, like any of the teams they played, have had the defense along with the offense to speed them up. And I think Illinois is the first one that has both those that can speed them up, and I think that gets them uncomfortable. And that's where we see Illinois win this game.
yeah. No, I agree completely. It's going to be a good one. Now we got Purdue and Arizona. This one, I feel like it's just be a bit of a rock fight. At least I hope it is for Sam's sake. At
Yeah,
least,
well, this is one that I think Arizona might be a buzzsaw at the moment.
yeah.
Like it's 5.5 for Arizona, and I'm sorry, Sam, I'm going to take Arizona's 5.5 here. Like they've got the size to play with you. They match up extremely well, even off the bench. Like with being able to bring Toby Awaka, I think they can spread them out a little bit, and they don't need the 3 ball, which is kind of good news for Purdue because it seems like everybody has their best shooting night against Purdue. But I just worry that the lawyer is going to get exposed really well here
Hmm.
because Smith and Bradley will check out, but I don't know that Lawyer's going to get in the way of Burries, and we've seen where Burries can absolutely carry this team. And then Koa Pete, I think he'll get beat up a little bit inside, but you're going to have somebody step out to guard him because he's athletic enough to dribble the ball. So it's going to be tough. And then the big guys they have, but it's a storybook season, right? Because if they win this one, they're playing here in Indy, and then throw everything else out the window. And I mean, things have broke their way perfectly in that Texas game. I don't think things are going to break their way. I think Arizona is just too much of a buzzsaw and was playing really well. They had that one blip where they lost back-to-back games and people started questioning everything about them. Then all of a sudden have just not decided not to lose since then. Kind of like Duke's in the same boat. Duke lost the North Carolina game, said, "Nah, we didn't like that," and has not lost since. So it feels like those two are on a collision course, which I kind of hope we do because I think that's the best game we'll get in basketball this year. But that just feels buzzsawy to me. I don't think the final score of this one game is going to be necessarily indicative of how good both these teams are. I think Arizona is just on a different level at the moment. And if they played a 7 game series, I think this would be like a 7 game, like everybody going to game 7 kind of deal. But I think this one
Hmm.
game might get kind of rough. But I've been wrong a lot.
Well, and I mean, Purdue can't shoot like they did against Texas to be able to stay in this game. I think they're going to have to play their best. I mean, which I think most teams have to play their best to beat Arizona. But at the same time, I think that this Purdue team, if there is a time to get hot, this is obviously it. No brainer. At the same time, I feel like that they can't get. They've got to stay the course. I feel like they get easily rattled and get discombobulated. If they do that early, it will be over early. This game could easily turn into one of those where you turn it off early, and because you know where this thing's going to end. And I hope for Sam's sake and for the other Boilermaker fans that I have in my life, but this is just a tough draw. I don't like the matchup for them. I think Lawyer is going to get exposed. I think he's the weakest link in terms of what Burries is going to be able to handle with him. I think Burries is going to have a huge game. I just don't know who's going to stop him. Who's going to keep him from that? I think the only person who's going to keep him from having a big game is himself.
Yeah, the depth gets into issue here.
Mm-hmm.
There was 6 guys in double figures in the Alabama game for Arizona, and the next from the bench had 8 for Arizona. And then there's nothing off the bench for Purdue in a very tight game. And biggest thing is Awaka's figured out how to not foul.
I know it.
So him playing more and more minutes is trouble for anybody they play because he rebound. He's just a giant vacuum down there and just sucks up every rebound. And you nailed it with the 3-point shooting. Like against Texas, Purdue was 4 of 20 and Lawyer made all 4. So you got to have him on the
Mm-hmm.
floor. He's your shooter. At the same time, the matchup against Burries, like okay, even if you put Cox on him, then like it gets into trouble. Who's guarding Koa Pete and Ivan Kirkchoff? Like I don't know. I think they're a little bit defensively outmatched, and I think that's where Arizona is a very punishing team. They find your weakness and absolutely nail it.
That's a very good description of them. They're definitely a punishing team. But I mean, I like the way they play. I like the personalities on this team. They've been another one of just kind of a pure domination standpoint. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a really tough matchup for Purdue. But we'll see. We'll see.
Hey,
Maybe see
look,
something special.
a team that played very similar to Arizona with Michigan, they handled in the Big Ten championship. They've got the game plan. You've got to do it. And it's one of those like the game plan is easy, but executing is hard.
Sure.
I think that's where they're sitting. It's like they know what to do. They know they can do it. They know how to do it. Just can you do it against them? I don't think they've got it this game, but I hope I am wrong.
I'm looking forward to seeing Koa Pete and TKR to go at it. I think that's a fun matchup to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
I think they're both oxes. They're both just very strong. They're going to be banging against each other. This will be physical. They're going to be spit.
Yes.
But they can't overexert themselves because I feel like that'd be easy to do with those two guys and those two personalities. So that'll be interesting to see. And of course, Jay Bradley and Smith is going to be
Fantastic.
and could honestly make break Smith a lot of money, depending because if he's able to handle him, that's going to look good for his next move in his career. So I think there's a lot at stake for that as well in this game. So what about let's move on to tomorrow's games and kind of wrap up our previews as we move in. It's this tournament has dwindled down, and the first game we got. It's an early afternoon game, which I thought was interesting. Don't know
kind of sucks for Tennessee, but
yeah, I thought about that too. But you got Tennessee and Michigan.
yeah, the line's sitting at 7.5.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
I haven't. Okay.
my heart and my gut say Tennessee. I could take Tennessee to cover. I don't think we'll win. This is one that a matchup issue where we don't have anything to flex on. Like, well, our point guard is better than their point guard. I would take Gillespie over any of their guards. Cadeau, everything. They've got three big guys that are taller than our big guys, and like Yaxel can just move Amit wherever he wants him because Amit's not strong enough yet. But I mean, we've seen Michigan screw around and stuff, but like it's strength on strength. I just think Michigan might be a little stronger now. So I think Michigan wins this game. The 7.5 scares me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to lay it or not. Because like Tennessee, Rick Barnes can scurry up a defense. We've gone against Mara before. They gave us a lot of issues, but we've also like Akpara is a lot better of a player than he was back then. And then you've got Estrella, and then you've got some meat. Like Johnson Jr. is not playing that well, and so I think carrying him is a fun matchup. But
Agreed.
Michigan's guards seem to be playing very well at the moment because I mean Cadeau had 17 last night against. I mean, a bit of these numbers get inflated because of the number of possessions you play against Alabama, but he had 17 last night with 7 assists and 1 turnover. McKinney is starting to shoot the ball well. He had 17, and then Gale has shot the ball well, and he had 16. So like we don't have those secondary guards typically. I mean, Boswell played well in Virginia. He had a big 3 last night, but it's not something you can count on. Evans doesn't shoot the ball that well. I don't know. The free throws are a big issue. I think, unfortunately, as I'm going through this in my head, I think laying the points in Michigan is the right move.
I unfortunately agree with you. And a lot of it has to do with I know Tennessee's playing hot right now, but I've also seen how bad, not good or struggling, but bad that this team can be, and Michigan can bring that out of people.
Go ahead.
Well, and also, but at the same time, kind of talking out of 2 ends of my mouth here, I kind of feel like that Michigan is probably the most cocky team right now in the field, and Tennessee typically thrives on that they kind of eat that energy up. They use it on their own, use it for themselves. I feel like that's kind of been our approach, our go get them attitude. So I like that aspect of it, but I also know that Alcara does not do well when he's outsized, and he is outsized in this matchup. But also, I don't give Mara a whole lot of credit. And he's not playing well. I thought he played pretty poor.
Yeah, it's the fact that they can go spot for spot rebounding with us, and that's the biggest advantage we typically have. To sit on the devil's advocate for my Michigan pick, look, Michigan is one of the worst teams at forcing turnovers, and that's where you can really take advantage of Tennessee. That's what kept Iowa State in the game.
Mm-hmm. True.
So it's just rebounding wise, Tennessee is a better by percentage, but like, what does that really mean when it comes down to like each individual shot coming up? Like, I think this game could be tight, and then free throws kind of extend it because Tennessee Gillespie is a good free throw shooter. Nate Emick kind of is in the first 39 minutes of the game,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden doesn't really shoot well when it gets tight. I hope I'm wrong on this. Like everything about this is like I just everybody's saying Michigan. I think Michigan. It's just one. This is like Tennessee only has to bring the orange jerseys from now on. They don't. They're never going to be wearing white. So that's something that Barnes can use as a motivation. They can use us. Everybody right after the game, like Pearl, Mashburn. Actually, I thought was funny that I forget who the like host guy is for the post game there. And he talked to Jalen Rose and Michigan, talked to Bruce Pearl, who's Tennessee ties. And he goes, "Oh, let's go to the neutral observer," and went to the Kentucky grad. Like that's a neutral observer for this
Yeah.
Flashburn. But like they all were.
It's also a joke.
Yeah. All were picking Michigan. Burrell left it open for Tennessee, but like I mean, everything everywhere. There's going to be a ton of motivation to use, and I hope Barnes uses it. And I hope he come out and just destroy it because, like I said, I'll take Gillespie over Cadeau every day of the week.
Yeah,
It's
insane.
does Ament do enough on defense to slow down the Axel, and does Boswell, Bird, or Evans combined for a good second guard? We'll see.
I think this is another similar situation as I mentioned about Braden Smith about how he's able to manage Bradley. I think that Ament's ability or potential ability to slow down and defend and actually challenge Yaxel could really make a huge difference in Nate's future in terms of the NBA. I think that'll be really interesting to see, but I agree that it will be a struggle. Yaxel's hard to handle with anybody. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. Fantastic player. Will be a fantastic pro.
He's going to be a great pro, no doubt about it. But he's got that. He's kind of got that cockiness that is healthy at a lot of times. But again, teams like Tennessee thrive off of that energy. So we will see what happens. I'm excited about it. I can't believe that we're here.
Yeah, I will be selling my house if Tennessee wins to go get these tickets, good seats, since it's going to be in my backyard here in Indy.
That's right. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Well, I think, and I don't know if there's much to be said about this Duke UConn game, but I do know that we kind of already mentioned it. What's the spread on this?
It's currently sitting at maybe it's 5.5, 6.5, 5.5.
Duke in the points.
Yep. Dude, yeah. I think the biggest reason here is UConn has nothing off the bench that they can do. Because 3 guys that they can put on Terrace Reed, so they've got 15 fouls to use. Really, well, 10, not 14. They use 14 fouls to use, like, and he's going to get in foul trouble. He's not going to be able to rebound like he needs to for this UConn team to succeed. If UConn keeps shooting as cold as they are, it's not going to go well. Duke has the guards, especially with Foster coming back, to rotate and check and make those lives tough. I mean, Hurley's a great coach. Shire's a great coach. If anybody can figure out how to do it, it's going to be Hurley. But I just don't think he's got the horses to score this year because Dame Sarr does not get enough love, but he absolutely deletes a player from a game.
Yep.
And so, like, if he's on Caravan, like, Caravan's going to have a very hard time because that wingspan, he's tall already, and then that wingspan is stupid long, so he makes it very hard to get open, to get shots off. So whoever he's on, like, and if Demery is not going to play well, or if Ball's not going to, like, they're going to need everything they have, and not because Duke's that great. It's just they don't have enough player. Like, somebody's going to step up somewhere off that bench, and Duke's got enough with between like bringing Foster off the bench, Nagumba, or like even Harris has the potential to do things. If Sarr's on, like Isaiah Evans and Boozer, and like you saw Malik Brown, and that was everywhere there for a minute.
Oh yeah,
like blocking shots, rebounds, dunks, in the first half. You're not going to get spotted 19 points against this Duke team, and even if you do, it's not safe, as they've proven. So I think this one has the stench to be the most boring of the games to me, because I think it might not be a big point spread, but it's going to be one of those that like Duke has them at 7 to 8 points, and that's about as close as it ever gets.
Yep, completely agree with that. I don't know if there's much I can argue with it.
So that's where we land. Data is set. Chaos is gone. Now it's just best of the best. Giving you our picks, the matchups that actually matter, and the teams we trust. Because this round is different. No more easy matchups. is where the stars take over or get exposed. The Final Four is on the line. We'll be breaking down what actually happened, calling out what we got right, and definitely what we got wrong. Make sure you're subscribed, follow us everywhere. And if your team's alive, you're 2 games away. Enjoy every second of it. See y'all next blowout.
Let's go get them.